What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer. There was Nationals yesterday, and some of the deck lists came out, so I'm going to look at the top four, and then there's a few other ones from the top, 32 that I'll check out as well. I know there was a Plunder in top 32 that I really wanted to see, but unfortunately it's not out right now, and I'll have to see if I can find it. But we'll go ahead and look at Tenyi Swordsoul. It did win, obviously, the tournament yesterday. The top four was really anticlimactic. It was a quick 2-0 in the they had played Floowandereeze, and then it was a it did go to game three in the Sky Striker matchup. Mystic Mine was obviously involved. Mystic Mine both in the players top decks, so that's two major tournaments in the North America in a row where Mystic Mine at 3 has been in the main deck, and obviously it's been quite fruitful. And this deck can play around Mystic Mine pretty well. So a little bit over 40 cards, 43, pretty interesting. Rivalry won them the tournament, so that was a floodgate. Continuous trap floodgates are the meta right now. I mean that's pretty clear from what I've seen. It just kills people. Every single player I think in the tournament had anti-spell fragrance in their main deck, so I don't know. I kind of feel like this is a fair card, but then at other times I think it's just super not, and I think it could be banned as well. I know whenever people start using all of the same card, I feel like that's when Konami gets a little ooh, maybe we should ban this because it's just ubiquitously good. Everybody agrees that it belongs in the deck list. Gamma also was a huge part of the top cut. And Swiss. I mean, this card is crazy, what it was able to do, which is pretty cool. This was one of the stars of the show. It literally won some people some duels. It won him in the Floowandereeze matchup. He didn't open the best, and it was really unfortunate because he went 6 deep on his Pot of Prosperity and didn't really get anything. So he had a normal 7 Apex Avion, I remember. And then he had gone for Long Wan, and then he had used Apex Avion effects, and then he had chained Gamma, and it won him game 2. But there's a few other times I can think of where this was someone had tried to draw a Dragon Link player. They hit him with Gamma, which can go into Chaos Ruler. In the right deck, the card's insane. Especially if a spell and trap heavy starter, right, or just anything in your hand to start, keeping this in your main deck, not just going second, can be insane because your opponent probably won't play around it, and it's hard to, right? It's hard to play around it. But nothing too crazy. I mean, this is 3 Vishuda, I guess, is kind of surprising. I've seen this at 2 most of the time. But other than that, I mean, this is your run of the mill. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Really only 6 true going second cards, which that's pretty crazy. They do have the main deck rivalry. So I guess I could say 9 going second cards, right? For the most part, and then 2 prosperity, or 2 pot of desire, excuse me. There's never really too much to talk about when it comes to Tenyi Swordsoul, other than the Mystic Mine. 3 of these. Yep. 3 Vaxia. I don't know if I've seen that before, but it's obviously just a very good card, multiple times. Just shuffling cards back is always a good effect. A Red Reboot and a Harpies. That's pretty cool. Lightning Storm also. Almost feels like you're the most traditional side deck ever, but clearly it worked out great for them during this tournament. So that was the deck list that won everything. We'll go ahead and look at Sky Striker as well. Offering of the Doom. Oh, I've seen this card a few times. Kind of surprising to see it win like this. Main deck Mystic Mine. So yeah, here we go. Forbidden Droplets in Mystic Mine. 2 common threads between the 2 of them. They have a lot more going second cards, obviously. So here's 5, 8, 11, 14. Wow, it's literally half of their deck list is going second cards, and then you can even throw in Widow Anchor too. But yeah, offering to the Doom, target 1 face-up monster on the field, destroy that target. Also skip your next draw phase. I don't really understand what the appeal of this is. I mean, there must be some. Maybe it's for your Mystic Mine. That's probably what it comes down to. Only 2 Pot of Prosperity here. 1 Afterburn. Or, yeah, this is Afterburners, right? Not the one that targets face down spells and traps, which I kind of find interesting. Well, I guess it makes sense because everybody's, playing the anti-spell fragrance, so that checks out pretty well, actually. Main decking 3 Ghost Ogre is bold, but clearly that's what everyone should have been doing, apparently. TC Boot, yep, pretty normal stuff. Just kind of trying to prepare for everything, I suppose. The 1 extra Nibiru DD Crow is pretty good against a lot of decks. I mean, Eldritch is one of those, but Despia Branded, of course, is really what you're going for. Trying to prepare best they could with Token Collector. They did not see it in their finals game, I don't think. Or maybe it was just Rivalry both games, like 1 and 3, that just prevented this from ever hitting the board. So good for them, Cosmic Cyclone. I wonder why 2 of these, like a lot of the times, like some of these things literally just come down to, what they had in their deck list, or what they had in their deck box that day. So that's probably where that came from, I'm guessing. But it seems like they're like 500 IQing it. And then Dimensional Barrier is probably no surprise to anybody. This won them game 2. Let's take a look at the extra deck. Obviously, like the access code lines in here. They have both of the Charmers, which is pretty cool because what dark can they go? Oh, okay, never mind. Obviously, Ray is a dark. This is a light. So you kind of do have those lines, right? Okay. And then, 3 of each of the Kagari and Shizuku, and then 2 Hayate, 1 Kaina. That's Haina. Okay, cool. So, yeah, Sky Striker, once again, performing really well on stage, which nobody thinks it ever will, but here we are 2 times in a row. We're almost won back-to-back major North American tournaments. We'll go over to... I do want to check out the Floowandereeze list because it was way different. Yeah, we'll look at the other top 4 here. Not the best showing, like, in that top 4 matchup, but, it happens. No material, pretty wild. But there's a lot of tech cards in here. Like, they play a lot of Samor cards, which is, like, definitely the biggest difference between this list and any other list I've ever seen. So I actually want to read some of these cards. I just haven't really seen them. While face up on the field, this card is also a win attribute, which is important. You can only use each of the following effects of this card once per turn. During your main phase, if you normal or special summon a Wing Beast monster, you can reveal this card in your hand. Immediately after this effect dissolves, normal summon 1 Samorg monster. If this card is normal summon, you can send 1 Samorg monster from your deck to the graveyard. Add 1 Samorg spell and trap from your deck to your hand. So what Samorg trap are they playing? This is a field spell. Okay, all Winged Beast monster on the field gain 300 attack and defense, which is actually kind of nice for, your barrier statue. It could come up. I'm sure it did at least once, going through like 12 rounds of Swiss. Okay, you can reveal 1 level 5 or higher Winged Beast monster in your hand. This turn, you can normal summon 1 Winged Beast monster for 1 less tribute, even if this card leaves the field. If you control a Winged Beast monster, you can immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon 1 Winged Beast monster. So... they're just extenders, like if you get impermed or anything like that. Which definitely helps the strategy. So really no going second cards other than, the best going second card in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Dimension Shifter, Andro and Lockbird. If he had seen this in the top 4, it just would have went so different. But he didn't see it one time. I think he had gone through like a Pot of Prosperity and found it off the top. But of course, like that comes in the graveyard at that point. So no real use of having it, which is awesome. But, the extra deck is just like a big Zeus line if a bunch of your guys stay on board. I kind of thought he had a chance to put 4 bodies on board at one point in the game 2 or maybe it was game 1 when he had put up Zombie World. Because he had normal summon the street, and I think he still had 1 more. And I think if he could have just like kept 2 on board, he would have had this line. But it was really bleak for them. Like once Zombie World hits the board, like it's just really unfortunate. You know what I mean? Like what are you gonna do? But another of the Samorg Repulsion. Discard 1 Winged Beast monster. Return all cards in your opponent's spell and trap to the hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Reveal 1 Winged Beast monster in your hand, and if you do, reduce the levels of monsters in your hand with that name by 1 for the rest of the turn. So maybe like extra gas going second. Also playing Harpies. I think that's a pretty popular choice at this point. Only playing 2 of the trap. but you are playing like an insane amount of spell cards. That was something else I wanted to talk about. I've talked about doing this with Guru, not obviously the pot of duality, but having these all together, like it works. It's definitely like sometimes you draw into it, but then at that point it just becomes a upstart goblin with crazy draw follow up. So I don't think that's a bad thing at all. And a lot of times you can get that choice. This is like the most consistent I've ever seen a flu list, and I think that's going to work out. Well, it did work out very well for them. They went into the top 4. No material there. Dark Ruler no more. Haven't really seen that too much, actually. It's been more Forbidden Droplets, but it makes more sense in a flu list. But that's cool. That's a cool list. I definitely have not seen that before. And also playing a little Nightmare Phoenix package there. Maybe to get rid of those like crazy floodgates. And this is Marincess. Everybody was kind of hyped about this. I remember in his top 8, and he's like, how do you feel about winning this tournament? He's like, I feel really good as long as I don't play Sky Striker. And he did play Sky Striker in the top 4, and he lost. So he definitely knew his deck really well. I don't really know much about what Marincess decks are supposed to look like. Maybe he's playing Cross Out, because like, why are you playing 1 Ghost Ogre? Oh, 3. Never mind. I'm stupid. But yeah, this makes sense. The whole like idea behind Marincess is that you can play like 15 going second cards. And then, yeah, you just, like, go from there. Like, you just, like, have 1 card play starters. And then you just have this, like, incredible backup. Only playing 1 Marincess wave. I don't know if that's normal. But, yeah, Kraken was, like, a big star, like, during the show. Which is actually pretty cool because if you have Kraken and you have Goes in match, I think that's really where this comes in. Like, they all, like, his monsters, all face-up monsters on the field become water. So, like, he can't special summon, like, ever again. Because your opponent just doesn't have water monsters, obviously. So that was like the big point of contention that got him so far. Again, these floodgatey continuous traps just dominating the meta right now, 100%, especially in those game 3s. Winning the dice roll is like more important than it has ever been in Yu-Gi-Oh! It feels like. No Punk adventure from like in the top 8, I don't think. So that was a little wild. There's only a few other lists that I know of. Oh, Punk Tri Brigade. That's interesting. I don't even know how that works. But that's top 64. That's top 32. Just want to see what else I want to look at here. Yeah. Okay, so we'll go ahead and just look at these other 2 lists, like, just because. So this is Adventure Dragon Link. I don't think there's going to be anything too surprising here. This is 50 cards in the main, so I think when you play, like, the Dragon Link deck, you definitely have to go above 50. Forbidden Droplets, again, making its way into the top cut. So I think this card's going to become more and more popular. I think it's coming out in a structure deck soon. So hopefully it becomes affordable for everybody else. Because I think there's still like $60 a copy at the moment. But, you know, lots of going second cards. I think you increase them even more when you're playing like a 50 card deck. Because you kind of have to with the ratios. But yeah, this is Dragon Link. You know, the 3 quick launch. Double Rocket Synchron is a little interesting to me. I didn't know that was a thing. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of crazy. I don't know if that's a normal thing, but Nocto Vision, kind of wild. Only one of, like, who knows? But Destrudo making a little bit of an appearance. That's pretty cool. Definitely helps go into something like Borreload Savage Dragon. It's just a really good extender to mill, you know, off of your Chaos Rulers. Just lots of one-ofs that, like, you don't ever want to, like, really see. But, like, you know, when you take off the top 5 of your deck, would be awesome. Like Snow, Destrudo's one of those. Apsa Routers, another great card. Sometimes milling even, you know, Water Enchantress is great, depending on the situation. But, you know, Nightmare Unicorn, kind of cool. Dragon Link lists are usually pretty spread out with triple bursts. Like, sometimes there's an insane extender. In this case, obviously, this person's using it as well. The Dark Charmer, pretty cool. Sometimes I see people cut this from their list, and I just think that is the craziest thing ever. This card is insane. So, only 1 token collector, but it makes sense because you can... That's the cool thing about Dragon Link is they have access so easily to shooting Riser Dragon. So, you don't have to play multiples of this if you're playing against Tenyi Swordsoul, because you can just dump this at all, like at any point in time. 1 red reboot, anti-spell fragrance, yeah, Droll Lockbird, pretty good card right now, honestly. Maybe not in the main deck, but yeah, pretty. If you have the space in your side, I feel like that's pretty solid. And this is a top 64 list, which is still impressive, right? To make it to day 2, it's very hard to do. You can't lose like more than twice, or you're just totally done for. I have no idea what this deck does. I guess Chaos Ruler kind of makes sense. I guess that's really what you're going for, isn't it? Playing the Mercarrier. If this card is sent from your hand or field, if this card is banished, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what that's for. Okay. I mean, that's definitely... So there's definitely a mill deck. You want to mill... They're going for the mill twice strategy, right? You make it, and then Deer Note brings back, you know, the Foxy. Foxy is an 8, so you can dump even more. What is so good to dump, though? Like, I guess it's just these names, these Tri-Brigade names. Playing the 1 copy of Albion the Shrouded Dragon. I would like to see this list in action. This is a deck profile, so... But this isn't anything too crazy. I mean... Didn't make like the top cut, but this is a fun list, that's for sure. Playing a lot of really interesting stuff. Nightmare Griffin. Oh, okay. So you get to discard and like reset Tri-Brigade Revolt or something like that. So the idea is obviously that you're setting like off of the Albion, sending this. But I don't. You don't have any fusion monsters. Oh, it's a winged beast, so. So I guess it's just a mini, like a very tiny draw engine. It's just really, you put this back in the deck, you dump this, you dump the trap, and then you draw a card. And then you can like eventually banish this and do it all over again or something. I don't know. I can't really quite figure this one out. But it looks like a fun list and it looks like it did some pretty cool stuff. Yeah, I haven't seen Evenly Matched. I thought this card was getting popular, but did not see in any of those lists that I've looked at so far. You do see it here, an Anti-Spell, TC Boot. Yep. That is pretty par for the course. Everyone's side decks were looking pretty darn similar if they could play. The only one that was different was Sky Striker because it can't play Anti-Spell. It's the like anti-Sky Striker card. But yeah, that's going to do it for right now until I find some other list. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.